Welcome back, everyone, to the Hidden Gem podcast. It has been a little bit of time. Lots of things have gone on here at the museum. I'm going to be your new host for the Hidden Gem podcast while we're still here. We have lots of stuff that has happened. Our director, who used to be the host of the show, Joe, had left for the Indianapolis Children's Museum. He's now the lead paleontologist there, and he's doing some great work over there. Scott, you may remember, our former collections manager, that guy that always seems to be on a Red Bull and like an Energizer bunny. He is our new interim director at the moment. So he's taking charge and leading us on, and we are doing plenty of great things here at the museum. And then sitting to my right here, we have a brand new member of the WESM staff. This is Kali. How are we doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So, lots has changed here at the museum, but we're still trying to bring you the greatest experience with everything Earth Science. We have a lot on the docket here today just to kind of get back into this Hidden Gem podcast. We're not really sure of when this is all going to run, how often it's going to run, but we're just going to try to start this back up and have some fun with it. So some things that we're going to talk about today is we're going to kind of get to know Kali a little bit. We're going to talk about what's going on new at the museum, and then some new events coming up. We have the Joanne Klusendorf Rock Show coming up. We also have a Rock ID Day coming up, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. And then some volunteering opportunities, and we'll have one of our oldest volunteers, the first volunteer here at the museum, Cindy Duckert, coming on later on the show today. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back after the break. I am now joined by our brand new collections manager here at the Weiss Science Museum, Kali Sip. Again, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Not a problem. So how are you liking WESM so far?
I'm loving it here. It's a little different from some of my past museum experiences where I mostly worked with kids. I'm now finally in the back where I belong, sorting out rocks and sorting out fossils, that sort of thing.
Absolutely. You still are working with kids though. You're giving lots of tours and stuff here and there. So really, what is your background in earth science, geology, and museums?
So I did a lot of my undergraduate work with hard rock geology. I did a lot of work on the microscope, taking photographs of thin sections underneath the microscope, and which led me to actually working with a different museum up in Cable, Wisconsin, where I had photos on display as part of their geology exhibit for the year.
Nice. Awesome. Very cool. And what is, you're just starting here at the museum, but what has been one of your favorite memories or instances or something crazy that's happened here at the museum? What's been like one of your favorite memories?
Surprisingly, I really enjoyed when we had Weiss's new collection brought into the collections room. Even though it was chaotic and you could hardly move around back there, I had so much fun just sifting through all the material.
It's like Christmas every
it really is.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, when we started here at the museum, lots of things had gotten piled up in the back to the point where you literally could not walk through without having to suck in your gut or crawl over a bunch of different cases. We got that all cleaned up with Scott being the collections manager, and then all of a sudden we got Len Weiss's stuff dumped on us, which is awesome because we're pulling out a lot of cool things for the collection to have. But it was overwhelming, some might say. And so Kali has been back there just sifting through everything, and you're pulling out a lot of cool stuff. So talking about pulling out a lot of cool stuff, what do we have here on the table here today?
So this we pulled out from Len Weiss's collection. This is a huge piece of banded iron formation. It's pretty heavy. It's probably around 10, 15 pounds. And it is all jasper and specular hematite. You can see how it shines so prettily in the light.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that camera's getting it, but it is essentially natural glitter. It's nice silvery glitter. You don't want to get that on your clothes.
Banded iron formation is probably one of my favorite rocks on the entire planet. It formed around 1.8 billion years ago with the first photosynthetic organisms pumping out a ton of oxygen for the first time in Earth's atmosphere. And these first photosynthetic organisms, cyanobacteria, were actually not accustomed to having oxygen in their atmosphere. They were anaerobic bacteria, so they would pump out all of this oxygen and then kill themselves off because they can't live in an oxygenated environment. And as a result, we see these interchanging bands where we have the jasper that shows off when we had large oxygenation events where there was an uptick in cyanobacteria in the water and whatnot, and then the hematite that would settle out after they kind of killed themselves off, because jasper is just another form of quartz, SiO2. O2 being that oxygen they're pumping out. So the silica dissolved in the water at that time was finally precipitating out for the first time in Earth's history.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Lots of interesting stuff there for just,
one single rock.
One single rock. So and there's lots more in the collections, and I'm sure as we continue these episodes that we'll have a couple other great pieces from the back that we can definitely showcase.
Absolutely.
But speaking about things in the back, one of the big things that we just got just before Joe had left, we had put in an order for some brand new fossil cabinets, because the biggest thing that we want to do in the back is organize and be able to look through our catalog, and if we need something from a specific rock, gem, mineral, fossil, we can look it up quickly and then find out where it is in our cabinets. So we got some brand new cabinets, and you had a little bit of fun.
Yeah, I'm a small person. I like to fit in places that maybe I shouldn't, but for sure I crawled in one of the cabinets after we took out all of the drawers so we could actually put it up on top of another cabinet, because those things are heavy. They gotta be nice sturdy metal in order to hold up a bunch of rocks.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but now we have 6 in the back, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so we have 6 brand new cases that are going to be able to organize all of our fossils, gems, minerals, everything that we have in the back. It's just going to make us more efficient as a staff and be able to help our research efforts as well.
Absolutely.
So speaking of rocks, gems, and minerals, we have a great event coming up. Everyone's favorite event, one of everyone's favorite events, the Joanne Klusendorf Memorial Rock, Gem, and Mineral Show. This is going to be happening on Saturday, March 2nd and Sunday, March 3rd. Saturday, March 2nd, it's going to be happening 10 to 5 p.m. And then am I getting to this right here, man? I am just, we're back into this, but we'll get it up squared away. Saturday, March 2nd is going to be happening 10 to 5, and then Sunday, March 3rd is going to be happening 10 to 4 p.m. So that is going to be where we have all kinds of rock, gem, fossil vendors from all over the state coming right here back to the campus. We haven't had it back here in at least a good decade, I believe. It's always been over at the Grand Meridian, but we ended up bringing it back here to the museum, and we're going to be open as well, both Saturday and Sunday for that. Another great thing that you're going to be helping out with is another event that we have coming up, our Rock ID Day. So we have plenty of people, as you know, coming into the museum every week saying, I got rocks, I don't know what they are, and I need them identified.
Yeah.
But you're not always here.
Nope.
Scott's not always here. And I honestly don't really know a whole lot about rocks. I got a C+ in geology, so we've learned a little bit since then. But Collie, Scott, and a couple other scientists are going to be here at the museum all on Saturday, February 24th from 10 to 1 p.m. And you guys can bring out your rocks, fossils, anything that you don't know what is going on with earth science, and we'll be able to help identify them for you. We would request that you can bring as much information as you can, where you might have found them, or the surroundings that they were found in, or anything that you could help us get a little bit better of an identification for you. That's what we would look for. But feel free to come on out. We'll be posting about all of this on our social media, so stay tuned on that. And then for the other time being, we're also going to be working on a brand new Rock ID Google form that you guys might be able to send in some of your pictures, so that way we can get a request or a identification to you. That way you guys don't have to travel in, because we've had people come from New London, Oshkosh, and we're not always here to do that and not able to suffice. So we want to be able to get those identifications for you. All right, so that was a lot.
Yep.
So we're going to need a little bit of a break here.
Yep.
But coming right up after the break, we're going to have our first volunteer here at the museum, Cindy Duckert, on to talk about some volunteering at the museum. We're starting up a brand new volunteer program, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about what it means to be a volunteer here at the museum, what she does, and why it's so special to volunteer here at WESM. All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll see you right after. Welcome to the Weiss Earth Science Museum. We are a 5,000 square foot museum that focuses on earth science and Wisconsin's geologic history. From geology, mineralogy, and paleontology, we cover it all. Explore our many exhibits that delve into the rich history of Wisconsin. We are a very interactive museum where you can make an earthquake, walk through a recreation of a 19th century lead mine, blow up a quarry, and touch real dinosaur bones. We are open from Wednesdays through Fridays, 12 to 4:30 p.m., Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., and we are a free admission museum with recommended donations of $3 for adults and $1 for kids. We hope to see you soon. Welcome back, everyone. I am now joined by WESM's first volunteer, Cindy Duckert. How are you doing today?
It's a beautiful day to be at the museum.
That's a good thing to say. I love that. I like that. So you are the museum's first. You were the museum's first ever volunteer. You still are the first volunteer the museum has ever had. How did you get involved with the museum?
I know Dr. Len Weiss and Donna from many other things, and as soon as they announced that they were going to be endowing the museum, I asked to volunteer. That's not how most people volunteer. They know something about the museum.
Yeah.
Maybe they're a member of the rock club, or they're recently retired, or they want to learn about geology, and they let us know, and we hire them.
We sign them up.
There's plenty to do. Yes.
Good. So yeah, you've been here. We've been open for now 21 years. I think is now since last November 21 years, and you've been here since the start of it. What does it mean to you to be a volunteer at WESM?
I love sharing my enthusiasm for science and for the earth in particular, so I get to do that as a science educator, a greeter, many other roles. I get to learn more, but one of the things that keeps me coming back is that I get to know people.
Like me.
Like you.
Like Scott and like Collie and all the great
and the other volunteers. And many people from that are good close friends of mine, whether or not they're still volunteering.
Yeah, we're so small here at the museum. We don't have this ginormous staff that like a Smithsonian would or anything like that. But I think that's better for us because we're more tight-knit together as a family. We work off of each other and we're there for each other no matter what. So it's good to have you here and to be with us, still volunteering after the whole startup of this entire.
Well, there's an advantage to being here for a long time. As I get older, I'm associating with younger people. So I get new ideas that I may not have been exposed to. The understanding of the earth is more,
Yeah.
but the social environment is also a little different than when I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
So I get that little peppering of my own attitudes.
Gotcha. So, like, kind of talking about that, what do you think, or what can you tell the audience that the culture is like here at the museum to be a volunteer?
If you want to come and do whatever we need, we've got those jobs. If you want to learn something, we've got those jobs. If you have all kinds of things to share and learn and explore, and you want to be behind the scenes, or you want to share it as a volunteer giving tours, we certainly have those opportunities. It doesn't matter what your background is, what your talents and history are, you can be a volunteer here in a useful and rewarding way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. And you really kind of touched on my last question was, why people should volunteer for the museum. It's really just, we're a family here, and any talent that they have that they can bring to the museum, we can use it. For me, I had no background in geology or earth science at all, and I took a job being a gift shop clerk here way back then. But then I used my talents through RTF, or social media and content creation, and now we're doing podcasts, and we're bringing more people to the museum. So you don't necessarily have to really have a geology background or an earth science background. There's so many things that we can use all different skill sets for.
My career started with training as an engineer. There being few airplanes to build in the Fox Valley, I changed.
Mm-hmm.
I did some science education work, and then I spent time at Lawrence University in science communication in the biology department. None of that is geology background.
Correct.
It's my interest, taking and auditing some geology classes late in my life. I still cannot identify minerals and rocks.
And that's okay. That's okay.
There are some I can handle.
Yeah. What do we got there?
This is copper, native copper from the UP. And it's one thing, well, it has some impurities of about 2%. All of that I learned here. I learned a lot here, but I probably can identify more rocks that I've picked up information on since I came here.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely a earth processes person.
Yeah.
In a tour, that hasn't made a big difference.
No.
We work around it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and if you guys are interested in volunteering, if you are interested in giving tours or anything that you think you could provide to the museum, we're always open to it. So we're starting up our brand new volunteer program. And basically you can go on right now at the moment, follow us on social media and click on that link. And on there, it will have a volunteer sign-up form, or an easier way to get started with us is just to email info.wesm@gmail.com. That's our general email right now for the museum, and you can send us a message there, and we'll get you all squared away to volunteer here at the museum. So plenty of great opportunities, and you can be like Cindy and still volunteering today. So thank you guys so much for joining us on our third episode of this Hidden Gem podcast. Again, little things have kind of shaken up the museum, but we're still standing on our feet and we're pushing forward better now more than ever. So again, we don't know really when our next podcast is going to be coming out, but stay on the lookout for it. You can follow us on all those different platforms for social media: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, all kinds of things like that. And that's the place to listen to us. Oh, and Amazon Music, I forgot about that. And again, if you have any other questions, anything about the museum, volunteering, anything you guys saw on the show today, feel free to email us at that info.wesm@gmail.com. And we will see you guys next time.